Hello and welcome to Footy Talk for your Thursday. As always, in studio, as I look across the table, it is my good mate, Premiership superstar, and a man who needs a haircut. Heath Shaw.
I was actually going to say that. I might get a haircut after this because I need it because I've got to play footy on the weekend and you need to look good while you're playing footy. Because if you don't get a kick, then at least you look good.
Look good, feel good, play good.
That's it.
That's
all
it.
you need.
Where do you go for your haircut? Shout out.
There's it's on Turek Road.
Is that the one that gives you the Peroni on?
Yeah.
And you put the Instagram story on saying how good's this, a Peroni with a haircut, and you still had the lid on it?
Yeah, because drinking responsibly. I
very
scolded
good man.
afterwards.
Well, one man who doesn't need a haircut and looks bloody sharp,
looks
and
sharp.
obviously not only looks good but plays good, is the young emerging star. Just had a birthday, just went 23 from the Hawthorn Footy Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Will Day.
Thanks, boys.
And I tell you what, he's happy. Look at that smile.
Yeah, tell you what, that
You wouldn't
reeks
say
off.
that winning feeling?
Winners.
Yeah,
How are you,
winners
buddy?
everywhere.
How is everything? Winning is good.
Yeah, no, it is. It's good fun at the moment, and yeah, good energy and good vibe around the club.
Well, since you've come back, so you've played the 7 games. Look, I used to call myself the difference because I got to the footy club and we didn't lose finals until I left. 2 losses and 5 wins. And then one of those losses was by a point to Port Adelaide.
Isn't it? Haven't they gone 5 from 6 since he was on the podcast?
Since he was on the pod.
And when we walked out of the
Correct.
room, we told him what to do.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That's what they've been doing.
Yeah, win.
Yeah. It was like, it was simple.
So we can't
Just
take all the
simple as
credit,
that.
but we probably should. Talk
Close
to us,
enough.
though. What has happened? What's been the turnaround? We obviously, I think last time it was, you were just off that loss to Port Adelaide?
Yeah.
Someone around there. Anyway, what's been the turnaround?
Don't say you stuck to the process because I don't want to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Say you did something dramatic.
Oh, yeah. It's actually pretty boring. We I don't know. We've just got a lot more trust in each other, and like we haven't really changed anything significantly. Like we're not doing anything special to get wins. Like we've had a few ugly wins. Like on the weekend, it wasn't really pretty at all. But yeah, I think in the past, like previous years, we've had to play this amazing, quick brand of footy to win, and it looks really good. And we still have games like that, but yeah, I think like on the weekend, we're just predictable. We stick to the process, as you said, and yeah, we just grind away, which it makes for a fun win when you get over the line.
We've been watching and analysing the Hawthorn game as a whole. We thought, and this is sort of me and the others in the media, thought that there was a little bit of shift in the first couple of games, that you seemed more worried about what the opposition were doing and how you were going to counter that, as opposed to worrying more about self and just bringing your best footy. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, definitely. I think we've even spoken about that in at the club. Coaches put their hand up as well and said probably trying to find too many little extra percentages here and there when you just go back and focus on yourselves. That's where the biggest bang for buck is. And yeah, it's really came to fruition the past few weeks.
And I'll admit, and I've watched a little bit of their games. Young kids with confidence are dangerous.
Can't stop them.
You cannot, and when the confidence keeps growing week in, week out, even I like the fact that, even though you probably wouldn't have liked the fact that you lost to Port Adelaide over there in that like last minute or last second, whatever, but then the next week bounced back and won. That shows that, like, yep, we are sticking to the process. Get out, Heath. But the confidence is still there to just keep going back to the well. And I think, are those younger guys, like, it's sort of like you have the older guys, you know they're going to buy and you know what you're going to get every week. The middle tier are the guys that are going to probably drive that younger group. But is it like the other way around now? That young group's just going, you know what? We're in here. We're going all out, and we're going to have a crack and jump on our coattails instead.
Yeah, definitely. I think because we have such a weight of numbers that are young, it's not like most other teams where it's relying on how the older experienced players are going. I think, as you said, it's a bit of a flip, and if our younger guys are on, and even I'm 23 and I feel like I have a lot of added responsibility, which I've been loving. But yeah, we've even got Nick Watson playing VFL at the moment.
The Wiz.
He's pushing to get back in, and
He was good
we've
on
got
the weekend.
a lot of young guys that are just really confident, as you said, which is awesome.
Your own form. Last time we had you on, you'd just come back for a game or two and you said you were pretty sore. How are you feeling now? Because numbers-wise, you are absolutely flying. The 10 coaches' votes on the weekend, averaging 25.5 over the last month. Must be nice.
Yeah, the first 2 games, I thought I'd forgotten how to play footy a little bit. I think I had 11 and 12 touches, and it's not all about the touches, but
It is.
yeah,
It's always about the touches.
It's amazing just when you get games into yourself. Like the first 2, as you said, I felt so sore, like the sorest I've ever been. And now post this weekend, I'm feeling elite and training really well midweek and just sort of snowballing into each week with a bit more momentum. So, yeah, I'm feeling really good at the moment.
Added responsibility, you just spoke about that. Would you take the added responsibility, not saying that your captain now is on the way out anytime soon, but would you take the added responsibility of a captain if it was to be handed over in the not too distant future?
Oh, I think as soon as I got into the system, I've always wanted to be the captain of the club, and I've been doing things here and there to just start to prepare myself because I do see myself as one day being a captain. So, I mean, I don't want to rush anything as well. This is my first year in the leadership group, and I'm still 23, so I'm not trying to rush anything, but that is my goal, and I'd love to have that honour of representing Hawthorn.
You don't hear that too often.
No, I love it. I love the honesty.
It is great.
A great aspiration as
Just
well.
people go, I'll just,
No,
mate, I just
wait
want
and
to
see
be,
it,
there's plenty of guys that are better than me. No, he just said, I'm taking over after Sicily, so see you
And
later.
hopefully that happens. What have you been working on though?
I think when I first got to the club, I was probably tried a bit too hard on sort of the off-field leadership, and I was trying to be a really big voice here and there, and I probably wasn't getting my on-field leadership right at the start of my career, and it was probably 2 years ago in the pre-season, had a chat with Sam, and he said I had a bit of a license to be a bit more selfish and just get my game right first, and I did that, and that was last year's season, and just worked on playing well, and I ended up leading a lot better just because I could lead from the front, lead by my actions, and now I feel like I've got a much better balance of playing well, getting my role done, but then also having relationships and being able to have some good conversations off the field.
It always helps, doesn't it, when your leaders, and it doesn't always revolve around form, but when the leaders are playing well, I think you take them more seriously if they are to give you feedback in a direct manner. Do you like having a beer with the boys? You got a very young group, or do you have a chance for that, or are you more FIFA? How do you sort of bridge those gaps and build the interaction?
No, we definitely do. We have quite a few Sunday games, so we don't get a whole lot of opportunity.
Starbar.
But
I don't think
That's closed.
I think it's closed. It's probably closed.
Remember when you
15 years ago.
used to steal the hubcaps off the bloke's hot dog van and roll them down Clarendon Street in the tram tracks?
Well, these things happen.
Sorry,
Spur of the moment
Not
decisions.
about us. So talk to us about the relationship building.
yeah, I think, as you said, we're all so young. Whatever we do, whether it's having a beer or also just going to cafes, like we're usually in a pretty big group, and because we are so similar in age, we get to make some pretty good connections. And then you even have guys like Sis and Gunners and Luke Bruce, like they're buying into it as well. And since I've been at the club, it's the most connected we've been from top to bottom, which is awesome.
It helps.
It does. And at the Giants, back in the day,
Yep, similar sort of
they
setup.
were forced to sort of they were forced to live together, but then they had to spend a lot of time together because they didn't have any other friends in Sydney, just the players they play with. So you saying that you spend a lot of time even outside of the footy club, because a lot of players have friends outside, they just leave the club, bang,
See you later.
hang with them. It shows how good they are and how connected they are, like we were in 2010
And
as
no
well.
surprising that's why you're starting to play good footy, because synergy off-field very quickly translates to on-field. You're probably going to need another 6 wins, I reckon, maybe 7 to get into finals. 12 wins will probably get you there, maybe. You're a game outside the 8, you're on the 6 wins. You've got Richmond, West Coast, the Crows, the Tigs, North Melbourne as part of your run home. Are you guys aspiring for finals, or are you literally not speaking about it? It's the old cliche, and I'll get out 1 week at a time.
Yeah, I think as the media's sort of started to spark up a lot more about us, there's been a bit of a balance. I think at the start we were like, just don't talk about it.
Yep.
Let's just keep going week by week. But I think it's shifted a little bit more, and I think it's a bit ignorant if you don't bring it up, and it's the worst when there's an elephant in the room and you don't actually bring it up.
There's a carrot there. There's a carrot there for them.
So, we've definitely addressed it, and we're not getting ahead of ourselves by any means, but I think being able to aspire to something and have a goal is very healthy. So, we're obviously going to try and get there, but if not, we know we're going to give it our best shot.
2010, Nick Maxwell's.
Smacks Nick's well.
Yeah, that's him. Our captain came out in the preseason and said, we want to win the premiership. We're going to win the premiership. That's our aspiration. We're not going to hide away or shy away from the fact. And everyone at the time, the media ripped into him, said, you're an idiot. Why would you do that? The thing it did do was make all of our standards lift. And the belief was like, well, why can't we? So no doubt there'll be a bit of that going on.
How are you going to deal with the fact that because you're playing so well and you have played so well over the last sort of 6 weeks, you'll probably go into a few of those games you were talking about, Dale, as favourites. Like this week, you're favourite against the Tigers in Dusty's 300th, which is always everyone gets themselves up for that sort of stuff. You're going in as favourites now. You're not that you can't play the underdog card like you would have for most of the year. How do you handle that? Does anything change?
Yeah, I think it's a different pressure than being the underdog, as you said, and the better we get, we want to have this pressure on us. So I think we're going in knowing it's Dusty's 300th, and we know that Richmond are going to come out, and we know when it was Gunner's 250th, we did everything we could to win the game for him. So we know they're going to be coming out firing. But yeah, as you said, there is a different pressure, which, to be honest, I haven't had a whole lot of that since I've been at the club. Like, we haven't been the favourite too many times since I've been here. So it's going to be a bit different, but it's great to get that exposure.
It will be a massive game. You guys will be heavily outnumbered in the grandstands. Before we talk about that, though, Dusty Martin, as a player, you would have grown up in your formative years watching him absolutely dominate. What do you love, or what have you enjoyed watching about his game?
Oh, I think just when the game's in an arm wrestle, he's usually the one that will spit out of a stoppage and kick a freakish goal. And I think in those tough moments, he was just so reliable, and you knew something was always going to happen. The first grand final I went to was 2019, the year just before I was drafted, and watched
it was
him.
a rough day.
Yeah,
for some. I think Dusty kicked 3 on me that day.
Yeah, touchy
thanks for bringing
subject.
that
Sorry
up.
to bring it up, but
At least you were in it for at least you were in it for a long time that game. Probably the first 6 minutes.
No, I reckon 6 minutes into the second.
Okay,
We'll still
we got it
sniff.
wrong.
Yeah.
Again, not about us.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing his presence that day and in person, I was just like, wow, he's something special.
You do have the Tigs. What are you most looking forward to about the day, and what do you got to take away from them to win?
Oh yeah, I'm hearing there's going to be a pretty big crowd, which is going to be awesome. It's CJ's 50th game as well, so
Oh yeah, you're doing a bit of a reverse celebration.
It's good
like
that
it.
they're all coming out
beautiful.
for CJ's 50th.
Yeah.
So,
Look at all these people coming out to see me.
Yeah.
350 between them, a couple of Brownlow, or a Brownlow, an All Australian or 4.
but yeah, we're just really excited to. This is probably the most pressure I've had on a game just as a team since I've been at the club. Just finally, every game sort of counts this early in the season as we sort of aspire for finals. So I haven't really had that. So yeah, it's going to be really fun, and yeah, I'll probably be a bit nervous going in. But yeah.
You played
Dusty's
327 Heath before you go
25.
on. 25.
Mm-hmm.
Any advice for the young fella coming into a big game?
I think it's, well, Mick always said, didn't he? You got to, like, you can be a good player, but if you're a good player on the big stage and the big games, then you go to another level. And Dusty, as you were talking about before, he goes to another level on the big stage. This is a big stage for the Hawks. So looking forward to seeing our mate over here play on Saturday night, because I reckon he'll rise to the occasion.
I
reckon
also
it's
agree.
something that you'll thrive on, and you'll enjoy that crowd and that atmosphere, even though they're probably not cheering for you like they didn't the 92,000 that were supporting Richmond and the 3,000 that were supporting the Giants on that grand final day. But it's loud and you can't not get excited by it.
I remember the best bit of advice I got was, it is another game of football, but just be ready for the moments. And you probably won't understand the moments until they've happened.
Yeah.
But if you've prepared well and you do what you usually do, you give yourself every opportunity. Those moments will arise and you'll be the one taking them. We wish you the best for that. Heath, you had a question ready to go?
No, it didn't.
Maybe you didn't. All right, well, that's just been the first half of Footy Talk. Coming up after the break, we'll have a little preview into this weekend's games. This has been the Footy Talk podcast, which is the latest news, interviews and analysis from the world of AFL footy. Welcome back to Footy Talk. If you're listening on Spotify, hit the bell, get notified when we drop a new episode, and check us out on the Instagram at footytalk_pod. Heath Shaw still here, so is Will Day. And there's probably no better man to talk about this next subject, because I dare say in the near future, this may be something he's going to have to deal with. Tagging in the modern game is back.
It should never have left. Like, how many times have we spoken about this?
If you're going to beat the opposition, you got to take away a strength.
It's just mat the ball. Just like, all right, Nick Dacos, he averages 35. Get him down to 30, 28.
Or 15 on the weekend.
15, whatever it is. It helps your team win. Didn't help him on the weekend, but take it out of it, and that's what. Yeah, it's just.
Well, Sammy Mitchell has come in and used a tagger very well. Finn McGuinness is your go-to freak runner. Tick, strong, tick, and dogged to the task.
Yeah, he was doing it all through last year where tagging probably wasn't back in vogue, so I think he was doing it before everyone else has jumped on the bandwagon now. But yeah, he's the best I've seen at doing it, just because his athletic profile is just so fit, so strong, and he's just so disciplined as well. So yeah, I think seeing the taggers come back, I think can be used as a weapon for teams.
Those are the things.
What's that?
Fit,
yeah, that's what
strong, discipline.
And if you're going to break it, you've got to have the same plus a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a good thing?
When he's on my team, yeah. But the other teams...
if you were coaching them, would you enforce a tagger?
I think it's situational, yeah. Yep. If there is a player that's just so... Like Nick Dacos, he's just a freak.
Yep.
I think, yeah, some sort of tag would be handy.
You take it on, like, it's nearly the top 6 to 8 teams that you actually target their best player.
You could think off the top of your head.
Lockie Neal, tag him.
Well, he'll get tagged this week against the Saints. Windhager will go to him.
Yeah. And then you got Collingwood, Nick Dacos.
Carlton, Sam Walsh or Paddy Cripps. Paddy Cripps probably untaggable because of his
probably
size.
Walsh. I'd go there. Essendon.
Zachy Merritt, saw it on the weekend.
Yeah. Geelong, not really.
Tom Stewart.
Tom Stewart,
he's the one-off halfback that people have been getting it done against. So there is. You can always identify something, and when you look at teams' profiles and how they play the game, Geelong's so good at setting up from halfback, so let their midfields have it 30 times. They'll probably kick it back to you 10. And Tom Stewart take that game away.
Yeah.
Sides have done that, and they've gone, 1-6 since starting 6-0.
It makes sense.
It does make sense. The big game tonight, we will touch on it, Heath. Brisbane taking on St Kilda.
Is it a big game?
Well, it is a big game because there's intrigue around how St Kilda are playing. 7 goals on the weekend. What they have the week before that.
We're going to have to kick a lot more than
7
that.
goals on the weekend, 8 goals, 9 goals, 12 goals against West Coast.
Brisbane on a bit of a roll too.
Brisbane,
they need this win
fresh
to keep
off the bye last week.
Yep.
Very good.
Keep the momentum going. And St Kilda just going. So
can you see Ross Lying making this a bore fest? And do you subscribe to the model that the way he's playing is bad for footy?
Well, they're a high scoring team, so they're not going to score a lot of goals, which is for the guy sitting up the forward line, who's a pretty good player in King, you'd be a bit flat about.
You would.
And yes, he'll try to limit the scoring of the Brisbane Lions. I can't see it happening. The style they play, I don't know. It's situational, like Will was talking about before. It's situational with the players that you actually have. Because I wouldn't say St Kilda's got the greatest list I've ever seen.
No.
So at times, to limit that damage, you have to probably play a certain way. If it's a shootout, they'll probably lose by 150.
You guys just beat the Lions a few rounds back. What was keys to doing that?
Oh, I think they're such a good contested side. So we saw that as a danger, and we really had to beat them on the inside, which was really tough with the players that they've got in there. And it was tough work, but we were able to do it.
And you rolled the Saints back in round 9 in an absolute goal-scoring fest, Heath. It was raining goals, umbrellas and ponchos for the people in the stands at University of Tasmania Stadium. 8 goals, 10.58 to 7 goals, 11.53. So coming into that game, and
it's good for footy.
and hopefully you can answer this without giving too much away, did you plan for a defence that was going to be hell-bent on just letting you have easy kicks across half-back and almost putting and parking the bus?
Yeah, I think their defence, like Callum Wilkie, he's a genuine star. And we knew it was going to be a slog of a game. We didn't know it was going to be that much of a slog, I don't think. And I don't think we kicked a goal in the last quarter of that game, which then the following week we played Port and we didn't kick a goal in the last quarter, which ended up we lost that one. So I think, as you said earlier, that Port game for us was actually a blessing in disguise. I think it was, because then we looked back at the St Kilda game, those 2 last quarters, and we actually spoke about we need to stay attacking. We can't go safe too early. So, yeah, I think it was actually good for us.
Mid-season bye for you guys after this game coming up. Any plans? Do you get away?
Yeah, there's a big group going up down to Tassie to play golf, but I'll be back in Adelaide. I got my sister's 21st, so just happened to land on the day I get back. So yeah, that'll be good.
There you go.
City of Churches, 21st. Nothing could go wrong there.
Nothing screams fun like a 21st. What about the time slots of footy at the minute? So you guys playing a fair few Sunday games, as you say, Thursday night footy, but also Sunday night footy. Do you think the Sunday night is reserved only for days off the next day? And what are your thoughts on Thursday night footy?
I love both of them.
Yep.
Sunday night footy was awesome, but it obviously helps having the public holiday so people can go. And Thursday night footy, I love Thursday night footy, and I obviously haven't played in any. But yeah,
Why did they get rid of it?
I think it is because of the taxing nature on the players. So it effectively means you have a 6-day or 5-day break, and then you can't really manufacture a bye back after the season.
And you don't get as many supporters on Thursday night?
Yeah, that's not such a big issue. It's more the broadcasters, but then the players as well.
Okay.
The 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock time slot on a Saturday is becoming a really big fixture because the fact that people could, not too late for the kids.
Yeah.
Usually kids' sport is done. Do you like that idea?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I like, the idea of when you start at that time, it also creeps into night, so the lights come on and you're playing under lights as well. So, I like that time slot as well.
I think Will would play footy at any time.
I think Will just likes
I think he likes footy.
I think he
and
just
he's good at
likes
it too.
Yeah, 23 last Wednesday. What'd you get up to for your birthday?
So all my family's in Adelaide, so the boys sort of stepped up here and had a few take me out for dinner. And
where'd you go? Where'd they take you?
Squire's Loft.
Oh,
just
nice.
around the corner from us. So
nice.
ribs. A few ribs and
You used to
good
go there a
steak,
bit,
so.
didn't you?
Still do.
Oh, okay. You can't tell.
Camberwell Road?
No, we
Burke
were
Road.
down in Cheltenham. There's a few of them.
On the corner.
Yeah.
Very good. Heath, before we let the great man go, and we are a very informative podcast,
Yes.
you were telling us about a series that we should start watching.
Yes. Talking about food.
Yes.
It's called The Bear. It's a little bit older. It's been around for a while, but I haven't got onto it, and I got recommended it. It's about a chef who takes over his brother's restaurant through circumstances, and he's like a Michelin star, top-of-the-range chef, and he goes back to his hometown to take over the restaurant, and it's pretty good. They're pretty intense in that kitchen, or any kitchen, I think. So Series 3 coming up next week. First 2 series, I'm halfway through at the moment. Looking forward to the rest of it.
Well, there you are. We are, of course, your Netflix and footy show for the week. Will, thank you very much to you. All the best for the big game this weekend against the Tigers.
Thanks for having me.
Heath?
Yep.
Have yourself a wonderful weekend. What are you up to?
Playing footy on Saturday, last game of the year, and then I'm going to take it easy from now on.
Very good. And I'll be working the footy. Hey, thank you for joining us on Footy Talk. As I said, if you are listening on Spotify, hit the bell, get notified when we drop a new episode, and check us out on the Instagram at Footy Talk Pod. You guys have yourself a wonderful weekend. We'll be back next week with more Footy Talk.